apa yang gue bisa lakuin di Indonesia yang bakal bisa impactful, bukan buat gue doang tapi buat orang-orang di sekitar gue.
Oke.
So that's my mission.
Hai, welcome back to Her World A Chat with Iwet Ramadan. Kali ini ngobrol sama Valerie Thomas. Hai Val.
Hai.
Ini udah lama banget sebenarnya pengen ngobrol sama Valerie. Aku selalu lihat Valerie di Instagram teman-teman aku gitu ya. Terus kemudian I hang out with her dad and her mom. Back then. Tapi yang aku suka dari Val ini adalah ada banyak ya value-value kamu yang aku tangkap dari interview-interview yang kamu lakukan sama Si Cinta Laura, right? Salah satunya ada satu gitu yang aku suka banget adalah soal kamu itu masuk dunia entertainment because you want to influence people through your popularity.
Yes.
Ya, but before that, aku mau ngucapin selamat dulu karena kamu terpilih menjadi salah satu dari Bulgari B01 Society. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Ini adalah society yang sangat menarik sekali juga karena Bulgari memilih anak-anak muda yang berprestasi, punya impact ke lingkungan di sekelilingnya, dan punya bold attitude like Valerie. Now, tell me about the statement yang value tadi bahwa kamu masuk dunia entertainment karena kamu mau memberikan influence lebih besar kepada orang banyak.
Kayak gini ya, I can start here. Kenapa aku mau pursue my career di dunia entertainment? Karena I feel like I'm different and I'm unique in a sense where aku tuh nggak banyak dimengerti orang. Tapi selagi aku ada di luar negeri, I always look at myself and I'm like, what differs me from these people that is the norm of what you're supposed to be, who you're supposed to look like, gitu. What differs me from them? And I realized that it's just my upbringing. My upbringing yang banyak banget orang di Indonesia itu belum bisa terima. Karena
upbringing is your penampilan.
The way I was raised.
Oh, okay.
Because of my Western upbringing.
Oh yeah, okay.
Buat aku untuk berkarya di Indonesia tuh dulu it seemed very impossible karena aku orang yang super open, super outspoken. I don't know if I show off too much skin. Even sekarang, like with the way I talk, kenapa aku ngomong pakai bahasa Inggris like the majority aku pengen ngomong pakai bahasa Inggris is because I think in English, not because I want to speak English. Ngerti gak sih? Bukan karena aku pengen bahasa Inggris terus gitu.
Yeah.
Sebenarnya because aku dari dulu I was raised in a not Western family, but I was raised with Western values. Jadi ya mau nggak mau ya I think in English. Gimana caranya aku bisa menyampaikan sesuatu dengan benar pakai language yang aku bisa 100% like I think in gitu loh. But my statement is kenapa aku mau masuk di dunia entertainment. Pertama aku lihat dulu my differences and how unique I am. It took me a while to understand the concept of my uniqueness and my difference. And it took me a while to be comfortable with it lah. Untuk balik lagi ke Indonesia, terus sekarang mikir apa yang gue bisa lakuin di Indonesia yang bakal bisa impactful, bukan buat gue doang tapi buat orang-orang di sekitar gue. So that's my mission.
That's really nice.
Other than being an actress, aku juga suka banget nih pursue a career di pergerakan sosial. Karena I feel like social change and social impact is super important. Banyak banget social issues yang sampai sekarang tuh masih tabu dan belum diomongin dan belum bisa diomongin karena orang-orang belum punya support hub atau mereka takut mengungkapkan perasaan itu. And buat orang-orang yang bold seperti aku yang mungkin very confrontal, very outspoken and very open, I feel like the people needs more people like me. To be able to voice their opinions and help them translate apa yang mereka mau share ke dunia yang nggak kesampaian karena mereka takut atau mungkin mereka nggak ngerasa comfortable.
Ada banyak dogma timur yang membuat mereka jadi terbatas gitu ya, dibatasin.
And aku blessed banget untuk dapat privilege yang sangat besar untuk punya platform yang sangat gede untuk bisa translate ini buat orang-orang yang perlu that need a voice.
Gitu. Ini aku tertarik sama yang tadi kamu bilang, kembali ke Indonesia dan kemudian membuat impact, gitu ya di Indonesia. Apa yang pingin kamu fight soal impact ini? Kayak tadi kan kamu bilang juga you want to involve in social movement gitu kan ya. Yang kamu lihat gitu ya, mungkin kayak problem nih, gue ngelihat Indonesia nih punya problem A, B, C, and I want to fight di situ gitu misalnya.
Banyak sih. Pertama,
yang paling kena ke kamu gitu.
Yang paling kena ke aku, it's so sad to see everywhere in Jakarta, everywhere we go, kita tuh ngeliat plastik sampah di mana-mana ya. And I think just an act of being sustainable atau mengurangi the consumption of plastic will always do a good thing for Indonesia as a whole. Nggak cuman buat Indonesia as a whole doang, tapi buat everyone around it. Maksudnya kayak orang-orangnya gitu, warganya jadi lebih peka bahwa kalau kita buang sampah sembarangan terus, nanti our oceans will never be clean. Nanti ekosistem yang ada di dalam oceannya, nanti di dalam lautnya mereka one day they're gonna be gone, and then our future generations won't be able to swim with whales anymore. Udah nggak bisa swim with sea turtles anymore. Karena
atau mereka nggak bisa lihat terumbu karang lagi.
Sekarang karang udah putih semua.
Which is that artinya.
I don't know, I just want to really encourage people to be more sustainable. Aku juga, kalau misalnya kalau if I can be honest, like sometimes the word sustainability, how sustainable are you? How sustainable can you be? Gitu ya. I try so hard to be as sustainable as I can. As in, aku coba untuk mengurangi consumption of plastic. Tapi kenapa di sini susah banget gitu loh?
Ini tuh kayak chicken and egg nggak sih?
Iya, kenapa di sini susah banget? Gitu.
Iya, karena industrinya dan juga masyarakatnya kan memang, I don't know ya, I've been thinking about this a lot also. Aku mikir gini, ada faktor juga orang-orang itu kayak nggak mau susah. Karena let's admit, untuk menjadi sustainable dengan menggunakan less plastik itu kan memang lebih effort, ya kan? Kayak misalnya gini. Aku banyak lihat teman-teman aku yang kalau misalnya dia beli makanan di luar, dia bawa sendiri tempatnya. Itu effort loh. Banyak orang yang males. Ya, mungkin males kali ya.
Tapi small conscious changes can really change the future. Such as kalau misalnya kalian terbiasa untuk beli minum yang plastik kemasannya banyak. You switch that, ganti dispenser di rumah. Ganti dispenser di rumah, beli termos atau beli tumbler, you take it everywhere with you. And kalau misalnya kita pergi kemana-mana kan pasti dispenser juga ada di mana-mana ya. Nggak mungkin you can go to a shop and you just buy 1 liter and then you throw it. You don't know where it goes. It just all it goes is to the landfills. That will just sit there. And make Jakarta a very polluted
plastic.
Place for us to live in. So I want to wake up to a blue sky. I want to wake up and I want to feel like I can run outside. Gitu loh. Nggak harus ke Sentul atau nggak harus jauh-jauh untuk bawa anjing aku jalan for hours and feel refreshed gitu.
Kamu suka ngerasa kesulitan nggak sih? Karena gini, let's admit ya, I don't know, kita kan beda generasinya, ya. I'm an early millennials and you are more to Gen Z. And I found that Gen Z is very interesting. Karena they are very opinionated. Ya, sementara kami dibesarkan dengan banyak sekali norms sehingga takut untuk bersuara. Yang aku pengen tanya gini, dan sekarang let's admit yang lagi ada di atas dan punya power itu adalah the older generation. Suka ngerasa kesulitan nggak sih ngomong sama mereka?
To be honest, kesulitan ngomong sama mereka mungkin itu age gap aja ya. Age gap because of the way they were raised. gimana ya, era kan udah beda sekarang. I think people will always work, things will always work based on trends and based on what's happening next. The thing with older generations is you guys are already at that age, that point where pola pikiran kalian dan cara pikir kalian tuh emang udah nggak bisa dirubah, it's fixed. And there's nothing you can do about it but understand that that's the era that they grew up in. Normalnya mereka tuh begitu, beda sama normalnya kita. Nanti kalau misalnya suatu hari aku punya anak juga, kalau misalnya my anak is like, oh mom, you're so apa namanya, you're so kolot, I'm gonna be like, wow,
kuno banget deh,
kuno banget gitu kan, pasti shock, right? Kayak you know when back in my time, this was already insane. Sekarang aja udah super insane gitu. So I understand why sometimes we have to teach the older generation pelan-pelan lah. Jadi tuh sekarang tuh kayak gini. Dan cara ngejelasinnya tuh bener-bener harus pelan-pelan, strategically, supaya mereka ngerti.
Wow.
Kan banyak banget orang tua yang nggak akan ngerti, mereka nggak akan kasih ruang untuk anak mereka beropini gitu. And that's where it's wrong. Karena ya mau nggak mau kita raise our daughter, raise our sons, raise our kids. Itu tuh eranya akan terus berkembang dan beda mulu. Everything is very fast paced, it's constantly changing. You have to keep up with them, otherwise you won't know who they are. And the only way for you to do that is to try and understand that, okay, I can teach my kid lots of things about life. You know what I mean? All the things that I did right, I will be able to teach them. But as a human being, I also have the capability to make wrong decisions. I think a mature parent harus tahu itu. Walaupun gue nggak selalu benar gitu. I know that I've done maybe 70% gue tuh benar raise my kids ya. Tapi ada 30%-nya yang mereka tuh they don't know how to raise us karena beda era. Mereka bingung because of the age gap. So I think what they should be doing is they should try to implement this type of trust where, okay, I'm gonna let my kids teach me a lesson because I've taught them so much and I'm happy with the way that I raised them. I'm very confident that mereka tuh anaknya yang mereka tuh baik. I raised them tuh jadi anak yang baik, pintar, punya value, very beneficial to other people, sopan gitu. I give them that confidence. Sekarang, where did I go wrong? I want them to teach me about that. And that's how it should be. To fill in the gap. To fill in the age gap. Untuk saling mengerti lah. That's what I think.
Ini menarik banget ya. I wonder, jadi pengen tahu gitu gimana komunikasi di rumah antara kamu sama mama sama papa. Pasti banyak sekali discussion terjadi.
Banyak dong. Family discussion tentunya banyak banget. Apalagi so many people think that aku sama Matt tuh bebas banget ya, maybe because of our Western upbringing, tapi enggak, mereka salah, kita nggak bebas, kita di control tetap, tapi to an extent, our parents will never kurung kita di rumah sampai kita depresi and not live life. That's wrong. Our parents will let us go. What do you want to do? You want to go out? Okay, here's a driver. He's gonna wait till 1.
Till 1.
You want to go to your first party? He will wait outside for you sampai jam 1. If you're not out by 1, I will pick you up.
Oh no!
Ini my first party.
Itu jadi kamu ada respect sama mereka ya, karena kamu dikasih kebebasan tapi ada batasannya.
Dan mereka juga lebih respect sama kita juga, karena kita juga tunjukin mereka kalau misalnya kita bisa jaga diri, kita bisa tanggung jawab, kita dengerin mereka. Once we give them that comfortability, besok-besoknya akan makin gampang minta izinnya.
Ngerti. Oh, this is nice.
And my parents juga nggak bakal pikir kalau misalnya aku nggak bakal pulang, karena tiap kali aku izin untuk pergi kemana pasti dibolehin, tapi ada batasannya. Sampai sekarang, now I'm at a stage where my parents udah nggak harus worry lagi aku pulang jam berapa sama siapa kemana, because all I do is stay home. All I do is stay home. Itu juga karena during the years of my youth, di mana aku tuh lagi bukan bandel sih, lagi mau explore. Itu mereka kasih aku ruang untuk explore. You wanna explore? Go ahead. I would rather you explore now.
True.
Daripada nanti.
Malah aneh ya, telat banget kemana aja dulu gitu.
Karena at this age, I already want you to have a fixed perception of what you want to do, of who you are, of even though it's going to be constantly changing Kan kita kan we as we age, kita juga cara pemikirannya dan pola pikirnya juga akan berubah. Kita akan jauh lebih mature. Tapi by a certain age, di mana orang tua aku udah ngerasa comfortable untuk lepas aku, mereka udah nggak harus mikirin lagi, gila anak gue bakal kenapa ya, gitu. Mereka bisa ngelepas aku dengan mindset kayak oke, kita udah tahu nih jeleknya dia, baiknya dia, her capabilities, kita udah tahu her tendencies tuh kayak gimana. I'm fine, she can take care of herself. Even though nanti sekali-kali pasti ada lah telepon kayak I need your help, I need your advice, please help me. But that's life, and that's what parents are for. They're here to guide us. At the same time, we're here to guide them. Kadang kan that's what discussions are for. Everyone semuanya punya opini, dan gak semua opini tuh nggak ada opini yang benar dan nggak ada opini yang salah. Semua opini tuh is a right opinion. There's no wrong opinion. Kalau di discussionnya. Pertama, my mom, kalau misalnya aku bilang, can I do this? And she's like, no, because I think blah, 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 blah. And then my dad's like, actually, lo ada benernya, tapi lo ada salahnya juga. I think she can go, but blah, 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 blah. And then my brother, yeah, no, she can go because blah, 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 blah. And then my mom mikir, oh, that's actually right. What a great perspective. Walaupun harus bicker dulu ya. If we all, bukan yang kita tuh satu keluarga nggak pernah pointing fingers, walaupun itu kadang terjadi. At the end of the day kita mencoba untuk cari solusi di mana yang kita semua bisa understand each other. Gitu.
Ini menarik. Artinya your parents itu juga punya role yang sangat besar buat kamu. Dan aku lihat juga kamu tuh perpaduan papa sama mama. Makin kesini aku ngobrol sama kamu. Perpaduan tuh mix of sifat mereka, kalau fisik tuh udah pasti lah because you're their daughter gitu ya.
I don't think perpaduan mereka berdua ya. I think I'm my own person, to be honest. And that's, I think my parents hate me for this because they can't figure me out. They're
really?
Because they're like, wow, who is this girl that we've raised? It's so not me. It's so not you. But she's here. She's our daughter. Gitu. Kadang-kadang mereka tuh suka yang kayak wow. Udah gitu dong kayak
cuman kayak
mau ngomong apa gue
ini gitu. Kenapa begini ya gitu. Tapi gini, kamu juga punya beberapa business, right? And your dad's also doing a lot of business. Kamu dapat itu juga nggak sih karena kamu ngelihat dia berusaha bikin bisnis sehingga kamu kepikiran untuk I want to build my own business also.
Dari kecil tuh aku selalu diajarin sama my parents untuk belajar berdiri sendiri tanpa laki-laki pertama. Even if one day,
who runs the world, girl? I love it. Terus. Pokoknya kamu harus berdiri atas kaki sendiri. Jangan bergantung kepada orang lain atau apalagi laki-laki. Itu di-stated beneran?
Yes.
Oh wow, okay. Terus?
My
mom.
My mom.
Okay.
My mom's like, even though your dad and I are very successful together, you also need to remember that I'm also successful by myself without him.
Okay.
And he's also successful without me.
Yeah.
We just bring the best out in each other.
Yeah.
And that's what you should pursue when one day lu mau cari laki gitu. Kalian harus sama-sama kuat, kalian harus sama-sama empowering, kalian harus sama-sama hebat gitu loh.
I like it.
Ya, kalian harus sama-sama hebat dan kalian harus saling support one another. I'm not gonna depend on him, and he's not gonna depend on me, but we need each other to support and grow together.
Yeah.
And if I do need his help, he will be there for me.
Yeah.
Because that's what love is, right?
Equal.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what love is. Love is equal. And if he wants to spoil me with gifts, I will not reject that. It's fine. Karena he worked hard for it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I don't have the capability of doing everything that he can do for me on my own.
Yeah.
So everything that he can do, I can do myself.
Okay.
Gitu.
Okay, that's principle.
Yes.
Yeah, that's value.
Yes.
Dan itu yang kemudian kamu lakukan dengan business.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about the business.
So I actually started my own lipstick brand when I was 15.
15?
When I was
Oh my
15
God.
years old, because I unfortunately got bullied for having big lips at
Really?
the time. This was pre Kylie Jenner lip injections era, and I understood my privilege. And I at the time I understood that I had an asset that I could make into money, karena aku juga waktu itu lagi apply untuk kuliah di luar negeri. Dan my mom juga bilang, look, kalau kamu bisa cari duit sendiri, I'm gonna be so proud of you. What can you do? Of course I'm gonna still fund your life there. I'm gonna pay for your school, pay for your apartment. But you know, I know you're a really smart girl. You have so much potential. So tell me what you can do.
Oh my, di challenge sama mama.
So tell me what you can do.
At 15?
Yeah. People are bullying you. What can you do?
Gain your power back.
Yes.
Oh my God. Terus?
So I was like, you're right. I'm going to make a lipstick business. And my mom's like, sure, I'll support you if that's what you want. Tapi kamu harus serius. And I was like, yeah, serius. And then sekarang sih aku lebih passionnya ke cosmetics juga ya. Cuman sekarang lagi di rebrand lah. Lagi kan itu kan pas aku masih kecil ya. Udah beda. Konsepnya udah beda.
Soulnya udah beda.
The
15 years old Val, and now it's different. Okay. Now tell me about the Bhinneka movement. It's a social movement, right?
Ini sesuatu kebanggaan sih buat aku dan sahabat aku Haikal. Dia lagi sekolah di New York sekarang. So
he's an architect?
He's an architect.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm an architect also.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an architect, aspiring architect in New York. I miss him so much. He's my partner in everything basically. So yeah, we decided to make this NGO untuk melestarikan budaya Indonesia. Soalnya,
ini budaya ya?
Iya, budaya. Dan gimana ya, kita kan sekolah di luar negeri ya. Satu elemen yang hilang ketika kita ada di luar negeri itu the element of home. Kalau kita ngelihat kanan kiri, kok Indonesia dikit banget ya di sini. How come people glorify other countries but they don't glorify our country?
Ada Chinatown, ada Koreatown, ada Japantown, no Indonesian town.
Kalau ada, it's not that praised upon.
Yeah.
And I just wanted people to know or have this sense of appreciation for Indonesia through our art, through our budaya, tradisi kita, morals kita, values kita, how we were, our upbringing tuh traditional banget, and it's beautiful to study. The fact that our traditional clothing has so much meaning. Our anthem has so much meaning. The language that we speak has so much meaning. Itu tuh I really want people to understand and glorify that juga. Nggak cuman okay, kita di luar negeri everything seems so beautiful, but also we need to remember that di Indonesia itu tuh pulaunya bagus sekali, bagus. We have the most amazing beaches, we have the most amazing mountains, we live in a beautiful tropical city. Yang kalau misalnya bosen dikit bisa ke pantai, bisa ke gunung, dan gunungnya juga ada banyak banget.
Even di Jakarta kita bisa ke pulau loh, ada Pulau Seribu.
Mana ada Pulau Seribu juga. It's very rich.
Lucky us, actually.
Lucky us, and I wanted to show that appreciation through art, through music, through speeches, through songs, through letters, and waktu itu kita juga sempat ada exhibition-nya ya. Jadi aku sama Haikal punya mission untuk membuka mata orang untuk terus apresiasi Indonesia dan karya-karya kita yang kita udah buat, dan itu juga platform buat orang-orang yang nggak punya privilege untuk show their talents. Jadi kita kasih panggung itu buat orang-orang yang bertalenta. Iya, orang-orang banyak kita dapat submissions banyak banget, dan submissionsnya tuh we carefully select all of them.
You curated.
We carefully select all of them for the exhibition, dan kita juga kasih mereka panggung. Ada panggung sebelah exhibitionnya, ada panggungnya. Mereka ada rundownnya juga, siapa yang nyanyi, ada yang kasih speech, ada yang kasih music video. Banyak deh.
That's really nice. Dan ini menurut aku lucu ya. Maksud aku gini, this is very unique. kamu yang sangat Western dengan pendidikan kamu, how you think, bahasa Inggris gitu ya. Tapi kamu juga sangat memvalue budaya Indonesia. Dan kamu tadi sempat mention soal our value, which aku punya pemikiran yang menurut aku gini, kenapa China, Japan, India itu bisa kuat? Because they value their tradition really high. Kita tuh kayak value kita sendiri tuh kadang suka, ke press sehingga akhirnya jadi nggak kuat. What do you think about that?
We have people fighting each other on social media. Kalau kita lihat komen-komen netizen nggak ada yang solid. Mereka bisa berantem, iya. Mereka bisa berantem
kayak asal bunyi media. Gitu ya.
Mereka bisa berantem on social media buat satu opini yang sebenarnya tuh nggak terlalu penting. How can you make negara kita maju atau solid kalau misalnya orang-orangnya itu berantem mulu within each other? You can't expect people to be solid if they don't stand together as a community and fight for what they want. And that's what we should be doing. Ketika orang jatuh, apa? Haters, bullies, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Iya. Jadi banyak sekali hal-hal yang dibicarakan tidak penting sebenarnya.
Iya. Baik banget. Dan gimana ya? Kenapa negara-negara ini that you mentioned, kenapa mereka bisa stand strong as a community? Karena they're very sensitive to bullying. They don't support that. And yes, there are bullies. There will be bullies. But there are more people that are aware that bullying can actually bisa berlangsung ke hal-hal yang jauh lebih ekstrim. Yang bisa mengefek mental health orang-orang. Gitu loh. Like, there will always be bullies. There will always be people that don't like you. That's just life. Itu realitas kita. Itu realita kita. Nggak boleh paksa orang untuk suka sama kita. Kita nggak boleh paksa orang untuk glorify kita. Tapi kita punya power yang cukup besar untuk shift perspektif orang-orang ini dan come together as a community untuk fight for the right things, as in no bullying. Gimana caranya kita bisa stop cyberbullying? How can people start respecting each other ketika mereka lagi jatuh dan respect privacy mereka, dan mereka nggak perlu harusnya di-exposed ke level of comments yang parah gitu loh. Kan kita sebagai negara seharusnya kita bisa punya a community of support, di mana kalau misalnya gue berkarya di industri ini, gue sukses karena kalian support gue. Tapi ketika gue jatuh, masa kalian mau ngejelek-jelekin gue? You have to support me because I'm only human. I'm pretty sure you make mistakes too. Tapi because you're not a public figure, your mistakes itu gak dijadiin artikel press release. Gitu.
Jadi more to stands for one thing to fight instead of fighting people karena kegagalan mereka atau flaws-nya mereka. Andai kata kamu punya satu superpower yang bisa kamu gunain, satu superpower yang bisa kamu gunain untuk mengubah keadaan di Indonesia dulu deh, nggak usah di dunia gitu ya.
Untuk mengubah
keadaan. Ada satu yang kamu udah gemes banget, ini kayaknya udah nggak bisa nih dibiarin terus-terusan, dan kamu dikasih superpower itu. Apa yang kira-kira mau kamu ubah?
Mind control.
Tell me about it.
Mind control, as in or telekinesis. I want to be telekinetic because I would be able to communicate to someone just by looking at them or focusing on them, and they will say exactly what I want them to say. Thank you so much, Valerie.
That is very powerful. Belum pernah ada kayaknya jawab kayak begini. Ini mulai agak ngeri jadi. Thank you so much for the conversation. Again, congratulations for becoming the cover of Her World Indonesia and also the Bulgari di Zero One Society.
Thank you so much.
Good luck for everything ya. Bye.